Welcome back, supernatural enthusiasts, to another episode of Beyond the Hub podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Brandon. Today, we're going to be continuing our discussion on cursed locations, continuing a 3-part series. Get ready because this is the new norm for us.
And if you're a new viewer, we used to stream one lengthy episode, but now we're splitting our content into 3 shorter segments, around 20 to 30-ish minutes, give or take, each. You can catch these new episodes every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And don't forget about my weekly videos every Saturday at 6 p.m.
So let's jump on into it with today's cursed location, episode 2, Aokigahara. Dang it, I practiced this so much. Aokigahara Forest, also known as the Sea of Trees and infamous for its haunting reputation.
That's right, Brandon. I'm probably going to butcher that name way worse than you. Nestled on the northwestern flank of Mount Fuji in Japan. I'm sorry. You're going to have to just tune in.
Aokigahara.
The dense coverage, foliage covers roughly 11.5 square miles. It's thriving on a hardened lava surface from Mount Fuji's ancient eruptions.
That's fascinating to me because of the fact that it's a forest, and the forest is thriving on the remains of volcanic eruptions. Like, that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. I think that's like literally the most nourishing.
Oh, really?
Set like ingredients too.
Oh,
the volcanic
I didn't know that.
ash.
Okay.
Or we got a picture of the entrance to the forest, and bear in mind that this is we'll go into what this sign means, but this is the entrance.
I read Japanese and I speak fluent Japanese. That's something that I'm actually joking about. And that sign says, please be careful. Now we're going to go into detail about that. There's some tragedy that is associated with that sign. There's absolutely more to this forest than its tragic associations, though. It's also steeped in folklore and mythology, with tales of yurei, or ghosts of the dead, in Japanese mythology haunting the land.
And let's not forget its geological wonders. The forest floor, composed of mainly volcanic rock, is home to fascinating attractions like the
Narusara,
Ice Cave, and
Fugaku,
Wind Cave, drawing adventurers and nature enthusiasts alike.
However, it's impossible to discuss Aokigahara without addressing its darker side.
Yes.
Since the 1960s, the forest has gained notoriety as a site for suicides, earning its chilling title, the Suicide Forest.
Initially, officials disclosed the annual death toll, showing a concerning upward trend. However, around 2011, they stopped this practice in hopes of diminishing
Aokigahara
association with suicide.
I'm trying to add a little humor into the sadness, the tragicness of this topic.
Absolutely.
We're not making light or making fun of the unfortunate association that this forest has, but it's such a sad and tragic topic to cover that I feel like it's necessary to add a little humor to things to lighten the impacts that such tragedy can cause to people, because humor is a really good medicine. It really is. It really helps a lot of people deal with many different negative feelings and emotions. So I just hope that nobody takes this as us being disrespectful. Plus, we also really, really tried really hard to learn how to pronounce Aokigahara. Me personally, especially, because I'm a little bit of a weeb. Actually, a bit of a weeb. A weeaboo. I love anime. I love Japanese culture. I love feudal Japan. I love the history of it. It's extremely fascinating to me. So when I can take the opportunity to learn the correct way to pronounce Japanese words, especially when learning about their history, I'm going to make sure that I pronounce it right because it's interesting to me. And also it's as a sign of respect.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the Aokigahara's forest. The signs at the forest entrance plead with those considering self-harm to seek help. But despite efforts to prevent tragedy, Aokigahara remains a place of profound sorrow. This is just, it's heavy. There's sightings of, ghosts. The yurei in Japanese legends and lore is basically ghosts.
Yeah.
Spirits of the deceased. There's good reason to believe why people are having these experiences in such a place shrouded in such despair and sorrow. There's a correlation there, at least, of massive amounts of death there.
Yeah. And
people who go there to explore the area for other paranormal reasons or just sightseeing, because it looks like a pretty beautiful forest. Very, very tall trees all around there. That does support the potential of there being paranormal yurei ghost activity there.
Now let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you believe that that people can be drawn to places like the Aokigahara?
Very close.
Closer?
That was very close.
Aokigahara.
Aokigahara.
Aokigahara. With their tragic histories, do you think people could be drawn into that?
Are you asking if they're drawn in because they heard of the tragic events there? Or are you asking because of the tragic events taking place there, whatever is left behind after those, that is what's drawing people in?
Both. A little bit of both.
A little bit of both. I absolutely 100% believe the first one. The second one, I think it's very possible too. I just don't know if the people are aware that they're being drawn in there because they don't know. Let's say somebody has no idea what the history of that forest is, and it's a tourist from an American tourist going to Japan to go check stuff out, and they're sightseeing, and they're like, oh, that looks like a beautiful forest. They know nothing about it. They know nothing that it's the suicide forest, and they go check it out. In that instance, maybe as they're getting closer to it, they feel drawn into it because of whatever spiritual residual energy is there. I definitely believe that is a possibility there. I definitely believe that could be the case. But I think that there's also something just inherently captivating about places that straddle the line between reality and myth, where the veil between the living and the spiritual world is rumored to be thinning, like places like CERN, not that people can really go explore that, but there's rumors that, with the Large Hadron Collider over there, it thinned the veil. Yeah. Right? Stuff like that. It piques people's curiosity. So I think both are happening at the same time. Absolutely.
I think you're right. I think that these places hold some kind of they hold a kind of morbid fascination for people, drawing you in with this story of tragedy and mystery. But they also remind us of that life is fragile. And the importance of reaching out to those in need.
Absolutely. And I can speak from experience on that aspect, at least. That's definitely a great point, Nick. And it's definitely crucial to remember that behind these occurrences, there were real people struggling with real suffering and things in their life causing them pain. It's a haunting reminder of the importance of mental health awareness and support available to those who are suffering. And like I said, I can speak from experience in this. I went through a phase of my life where I battled really, really bad depression, not clinically diagnosed from a therapist, although I did go see a therapist, psychiatrist, whatever the title of their work was. I don't really know which one I saw, but that didn't help as much as the support group from, loved ones. And when I went through my darkest, most depressed times, I ended up being, there's different terms for it, but, around here, I know it's called 941. Yeah. When you get involuntarily admitted into the mental ward of a hospital. And I spent a good chunk of time in there, and that, I will say, that experience was necessary, valuable. I learned a lot from it, because it helped me change my perspective, because I saw people in there that absolutely were truly suffering beyond any doubt, where like you can visibly see in their behaviors, their actions, the way they walk, the way they talk, like there's something up with that person. And I was in there just because I was extremely sad, which is essentially what depression boils down to. I'm not trying to make light of it for those who really truly suffer, but when I was in there, I was granted a different lens.
Yeah.
To be like, I'm not that guy. You know, I feel really bad for these people in here. And I'm over here saying my life is so bad and I'm so depressed and everything's so terrible. And I got granted, and I believe this is also God working in my life to show me, hey man, chin up. It ain't that bad. And I came out of there with some newfound skills on how to cope with extreme sadness and depression. Now, not to say I didn't struggle with it after that. I was young. I was 19, I think. And for the next following 5-10 years, it's still a battle. It's still a struggle. But it helped me see that there's more that's worth holding out hope for. And it also helped me see who truly cared and valued me in my life, because I had people that I never expected would show up and visit me when I was in there. I didn't even know they knew I was in there. I was quite ashamed, honestly, of ending up in there. And they came to visit me at multiple times. So like every time I'd be reflecting on, introspectively reflecting on like, man, things aren't that bad. I can get out of here and be okay. I needed this whether I wanted to or not. This granted me a valuable lens that I didn't have before, the valuable perspective. And as I'm going through the days in there, different people would come and visit, and I'd be like, wow. And it would help me really reflect on like, if I did something tragic and terrible, that would affect this person and this person and this person and this person. And that list just kept going on. And that really helped ground me. So absolutely reach out. There is support out there, and there's no need to feel like you're alone in this.
Thank you for sharing that, Brandon.
Yeah, no problem.
No one should ever feel alone in their struggles.
No. You shouldn't. You really shouldn't, because you're not. You're really not.
You need to know that there is help out there. It is available, and there are people that care, that truly care. And there's good resources to provide this support and guidance.
Whether it's reaching out to a trusted friend or family member, or contacting mental health professional, or connecting with support groups, it's extremely important to take that first step towards seeking help. And remember that even in the darkest of times, there is absolutely always hope. We're all here for a reason that we might discover towards the end of our journey, when we all finally meet that day according to fate. But to end that, cut that short, because things may not be as amazing as you would like. It's real tragedy, and definitely hold on to hope, because life is ups and downs. You're gonna have highs, you're gonna have lows, and that's just an inevitable truth. It's unfortunate and fortunate at the same time. You can't value what's amazing and beautiful and great without having its polar opposite to compare it against. Because if there was just everything amazing, beautiful, and great, then nothing's amazing, beautiful, and great. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. And sometimes discovering things that you're passionate about,
yeah,
or exploring new interests can offer solace and a sense of purpose during those difficult times. It's about finding those rays of light amidst the darkness and holding on to them.
That's a very good point, Nick. So to anyone who may be struggling, know that you're not alone and there is a path forward. Reach out, lean on your support network, and remember that brighter days absolutely are ahead. And I would like to close out by just saying that my heart and prayers go out to all of those who tragically have taken their life in the Aokigahara forest. I think, and those who have done it not in Aokigahara forest, but just the topic of discussion today was, but that's potentially the darker nature behind what these paranormal experiences in the Aokigahara forest could be because of these. So my heart and prayers go out to these people, and I hope that they are resting peacefully.
Very well said, Brandon. And with that, we wrap up definitely another thought-provoking episode.
And the exploration will continue, and we can't wait to have you back for more revelations.
Remember, keep your questions and theories. They fuel our discussions, so please keep them coming.
And be sure to tune in tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern for our final episode of the week, episode 3. Until then, stay curious and keep seeking the truth.
Thank you for being a part of Beyond the Hub family. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And once again, this is Beyond the Hub podcast, where the realms of the paranormal and conspiracies collide, and the truth is waiting to be unveiled.
Take care,
We'll see you
everyone.
next time.